So, look, Cherami, you've been to Australia a lot now.
A lot. Thanks to you guys. You've made it like my home away from home.
No. We thank you for coming all the way out to Australia.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Just a hop, skip, and a 15-hour flight.
Yeah, no, I actually really enjoy the flight. I get caught up on TV and movies, and it's actually the most sleep I've gotten in the last 2 months.
You must be practically like an Aussie now.
Is that how this works?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, perfect.
We have to hear your accent, of course.
Oh no, the accent is so. Let's see, what did someone say today that I thought was really? You guys have a couple of fun phrases. I heard someone say, "I'm gonna pop this under the chair," and I really loved that. I was like, I'm gonna start saying "pop this under the chair" in.
Wasn't bad. What do you think, guys?
I gotta work on it.
Yeah,
what is? I had a lamington this morning, which was fantastic. My mom has never had a lamington before.
Lamington.
They're really great.
Yeah, you've got to stretch out your A's.
The eyes.
A's. So I'm saying the letter A, but I think you might be getting I.
Oh, okay.
Get A.
Good eye.
That's pretty good.
Okay.
Come on.
I'll work on it. I'll try to do better.
You know what? You leave Australia to us and you stick to our.
Fantastic, I can do that.
All right, good.
Yeah.
So, what do you love most about coming out to Australia?
Well, honestly, I've been telling everybody I love getting to come to Australia because it feels like my home away from home because I've been here so many times. So I have like my favorite grocery store that I love to get to come to. Woolworths, but you guys call it Woolies. And then I found out today about Cole's Little Shop. And so someone brought me a bunch of the little tiny collectibles, which is very exciting. And then I have my favorite yogurt, which is Ruby and Roy. So I have a lot of things I can only get here. So I have to like go shopping, pick up some things for my friends, and who doesn't love Tim Tams? Tim Tams, animals, and like you guys are so wonderful. So it's like getting to see my family while I'm here.
Thank you. Your trips to Australia sound exactly like my trips to the US.
Really?
I just hit the grocery places.
What are your favorite things in the US?
Well, we can get a lot of it out here now.
Sure.
I love Ben & Jerry's ice cream.
Okay.
So, I'm sure everybody out there knows that.
Yeah.
And also, you guys why do you have 5,000 cereals?
I have no idea. But there are 5,000 cereals. And then around seasons, like they'll take what is just a classic cereal and come up with 6 flavors just for fall.
Right.
So you guys, like, it's our fall right now, or the beginning of our fall, so we're getting all of the pumpkin spice and pumpkin takes over. So there are people, I'm sure you guys have seen on YouTube, they do the pumpkin challenges, and they'll take all these weird pumpkin flavored snacks and try them.
Pumpkin flavored cereal sounds delicious.
It is. I love all the pumpkin spice flavored stuff. Somebody did pumpkin spiced wine, which I don't know if that's a good choice. I'm not really much of a drinker, so I won't try that.
I'm starting to see why Halloween didn't really catch on in Australia.
You guys are like, no pumpkin. Keep that away.
Leave that out. And so, tell us, in your travels, and you've been to many countries with your work, how do you find fans in Australia are kind of different to fans elsewhere?
Well, I think you guys are far more welcoming, but at the same time, way more polite than we are in America. In America, everyone is so loud, and I mean, I can say it because I am an American, but we're very obnoxious. We were talking backstage, and I didn't know that you guys, that this is not a normal thing for you, but when the Sword Art Online movie came out, Ordinal Scale, we premiered the Japanese version, and we all got to see it for the first time, and the Japanese production team came out, and they were sitting in front of myself and my husband and Bryce, and we were sitting up in the balcony, and everybody in the audience was cheering anytime a character came on screen. And anytime anything emotional happened, my husband would audibly have a reaction, like, no! What? And everybody in the audience was doing the same thing, and the Japanese production team was like turning around, and I leaned over and I was like, you have got to be quiet, you're going to get me fired. So you guys apparently are not very vocal in your movie watching experience.
Oh, hold on. We can be vocal, right?
We can, but... Okay, but if it's Endgame, I saw Endgame at midnight. So like it came out on Friday, we saw it on Thursday night at midnight. Our entire movie theater was up in the aisles, running up and down, screaming anytime anything happened. Is that normal? Do you guys get out of your chair and run?
No.
It was a little scary.
Mixed responses.
I don't want to spoil anything, but I refer to him as post-Thanos Thor. People were up running laps around the theater because they were so excited about Thor's new look in Endgame. So that was pretty crazy.
Australia's like, I think in terms of etiquette, we're a little bit of a mix between the US and England, you know. Sometimes I feel like I should be sipping my tea, just shaking my head in disapproval, and other times I'll be pumping my fists.
That's fair. Yeah, you guys get the best of both worlds then.
One of my first trips to the States, I went with our co-founder, Tim Anderson. You guys might have seen him around the show. And we decided to run an experiment, and they were premiering something done there. It's going back about 10 years. And the Sunrise logo came up on the screen. So Tim, he just goes, "Yeah, Sunrise!" And the whole place erupts and goes completely crazy. And we're like, yeah, they'll cheer at anything.
They'll cheer at anything. You just give them permission or an invitation, and they're all about it.
I give you guys permission to cheer for Cherami, please!
Yeah. Thank you so much. That's perfect. That's just like America. Way to go, guys.
I'm just going to give people permission to cheer
all
for
the
me.
time. Yeah.
Use it!
Cheer right here. See, isn't it nice?
This is like a revelation. All right, let's talk about you though.
Okay.
So you've been doing voice acting now for how long?
I started acting when I was 6 and started doing voiceover work when I was 7, and I just turned 31. So it's been a while. But I started doing voice acting for anime and video games when I was 18.
All right. Okay. And acting a long time before that.
Yeah.
What was your first role? Do you remember?
My very first professional acting job was I got to wrap a present for a JCPenney in-store commercial.
Right.
You guys don't have JCPenney. And then right after that I had a commercial for Taco Bell. And I got to dress up in a full tuxedo and waddle like a penguin. It was for Penguin and the Pebble.
When you said you had to rap, I just thought I was going to go on to a completely different...
Oh, no, rapping, no, I can't do like rap like Eminem rap. But they gave me as a 5-year-old wrapping paper, and I had to wrap a Christmas present for my parents, and it was terrible. But I got paid for it, like $50, and that was very exciting.
That's a fortune, is it?
Absolutely. I was like, I can buy anything I want.
From JCPenney?
Exactly. Yeah, it's pretty great.
Well, so you may not be able to rap, but I have it on pretty good authority you can sing.
Oh, do you?
Well, we might check it out later.
You didn't hear that from my high school music teacher.
So every time you approach a new role, what keeps you motivated?
Well, I think because I've been acting as long as I have, I know what it's like to want a role and to be so invested and so excited and then not get the job. That every time, even I get an audition, I get so excited about the opportunity to act and get to step into someone else's shoes and explore life from someone else's perspective. That it's just like a genuine love for human beings and a genuine love for a different life experience. That's what keeps me motivated. And since I know what it's like to not get the job, when someone gives me permission and I get to really jump in and work with a new production team or work with a new character, it's always very exciting.
Got it. A combination of fear and love.
1,000%.
It's just like life.
Isn't it? Yeah.
And tell us, you've played a lot of strong feminine characters over the years. We've got Asuna from SAO. If you guys know any of these, yeah, that's right. If you know any of these characters, you can sing them out. Sailor Venus from Sailor Moon. Lucy from Fairy Tale. Are you especially determined to, play these roles in a particular way?
One of the things that I love about working in anime specifically, and I didn't see this when I was a kid as much in Western animation, but I always saw it in anime, is that the characters had multiple sides to them in multiple dimensions. So a strong female character didn't mean they were wearing armor and really great with a sword and really strong. In anime, they always had an emotional side. And so I think what's great about playing a strong female character in anime specifically is it means they can be very powerful with a sword and also very compassionate and have a lot of integrity. They can be like Makoto in Persona 5. She's very focused on justice for other people and really focused on her education and wants to do things the right way, and also finding out that there's no black and white answer for what's right. It's navigating that gray area of life and finding out what justice looks like for you. So in anime, the definition of a strong female character varies based on the story and for that individual person, which is kind of nice to see that strength is not just one thing. We all have our unique strength.
Absolutely. And outside of convention spaces, how has interacting with fans sort of changed for you over the last few years?
Well, I know when I'll go to conventions and I'll take like an Uber or a Lyft to the airport. 5 years ago, when I was going to conventions, I would the driver would say, well, where are you going on your trip? And I would say, I'm going to an anime convention. And they would say, what's an anime convention? Or I'd say, I'm a voice actor for anime and video games. And they would say, what's that? And now I say, I'm a voice actor for anime and video games. And every single Uber driver now is like, I love this show. So I think because it's becoming more mainstream with streaming services or just anime becoming more readily available, people know what anime is. And it's not something that, like when I was in high school, you knew about anime and you would only talk about it quietly with the other 5 people in the anime club. And now everybody's proudly wearing shirts that you can get like at the mall or all of these ready-to-wear shops, and so that's very exciting. It's more mainstream, and everybody knows at least one anime, and everybody's proud to talk about it, which has definitely changed.
Yeah,
outside of cons.
So we have Uniqlo here, and they've got the shirts, and also we've got. You were talking before about Hot Topic in the States.
Yeah.
We've got a place called JJ's. They're doing anime shirts now. I mean, this stuff is mainstream, right?
Yeah, which is, I mean, that was not the case when I was in high school.
You know, when I was in high school, everybody thought it was manga, and then when they finally figured out it was anime, they called it anime. And it seems like they finally got it worked out after 20 years.
I know my grandmother went to her high school reunion, and I won't say how many years it was, but she went to her high school reunion and she has a little Excalibur keychain on her purse from Soul Eater, and people were asking what that was. And she was like, oh, it's from anime. And she said there was one of her friends was like, no, it's a Nami. And she was like, well, okay. And my grandmother was the cool one that was like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
My granddaughter would tell me.
So, after so many years, fairy tales coming to an end.
So they say.
So they say. So, well, you think assuming it does,
Okay.
do you think it'll be hard to say goodbye to that series? It's been a big part of your career.
Absolutely. It's been almost a decade that I've been working on this character, which is why I'm in absolute denial, even now that it's coming to an end. I was very, very strong on my stance, especially when I came to Sydney earlier this year. I was like, it's not coming to the end. There's going to be more anime coming. There's going to be a spin-off series. I'm sure of it. But now we're getting dangerously close to the end of this final season. And I might be wrong. I'm just hoping that they're gonna let me be wrong, only to make me right like a year from now when they say 100-year quest coming soon. So we'll see.
There you go. So you heard it here first, everybody.
Yeah.
Big time skeptic about the end.
Big time skeptic.
Another fan down there of Fairy Tale, I see. Now, we recently...
Yes, I hope so.
Keep that candle burning, everybody.
Cassie knows it.
So we recently got to see more of Sword Art Online, Alicization, more of the underworld, and of course we see that Asuna's back.
Yeah.
We've been told to expect a season full of all kinds of shots. Come on. Just for you, me, and the 200, 300 people in the room, what do you got for us?
So I tried to get secrets for you guys at Anime Expo. We did a Sword Art Online Summer Festival panel. And I talked to the director, and I talked to Mr. Adachi, and I said, could you guys give me any sort of secret? And they said, no, because you tell everyone. And I said, they're not wrong. But they did promise me that there was going to be a really cool, really awesome entrance for Asuna. And I said, can you promise me that there will be one episode where nothing bad happens to Asuna and Kirito? And they said that is not the Sword Art way.
Yeah.
So I can't promise you guys a season of no tears. I tried really hard.
Who's looking forward to the return of Asuna out there?
It's going to be so good. It's going to be so good. I'm so excited.
Big season. So it kicks off in a few weeks' time.
Yeah.
Not long now.
I'm so excited.
So do check it out on Anime Lab.
Yeah.
Now, one of the biggest hits of recent sort of simulcasts, and certainly at the start of the year, was Cells at Work. Who checked that one out? Who's seen Cells at Work in here? Plenty of
So
people.
funny.
So we were very excited to see you being cast as a red blood cell.
I could not believe it.
All right.
I got the email and I was like, what? Is this a joke? I was so excited because I was a huge fan of the subtitled version. And so when I got to audition, I was like, maybe I'll get to be like a random cell. But then I got to be a red blood cell. I was very excited.
I expect you probably got a little bit more than what you bargained for, and we're going to take a look at a clip right
I
now.
was so not ready for this.
So let's run that clip. What do you guys think of that?
So I just found out yesterday, and it was confirmed today because I just bought it on my phone in the green room, that the full song, the full version of the song is available on iTunes and Amazon Music and Spotify.
And we're all great music sold.
Yeah, exactly. And we're all great music sold. It was very exciting. So you can hear Robbie Damon sing his solo and Laura Post sing her solo. It was very exciting.
Yeah.
So you have to check it out.
There you go. So you're a singer as well.
I don't know about that. That was. I swear it was the rest of the mixing and Kaylee Mills' wonderful lyrics that made that work. Because my high school theater teacher told me never to sing in public. So.
Yeah, I think it's your. How rude! I think it's your quest now to send them, screen caps of every.
I should. She just retired from teaching, so I should post the link to the iTunes.
I made it.
You
There you
just
go,
know
right
it.
here.
Yes, confirmation.
Thank you, sir.
It was very fun. Yeah, that song was stuck in my head for 3 days, and now it'll be stuck in my head for another 3 days. But it's so cute. I don't mind it.
So, singing aside, how did you take those skills and apply them to the dub? What do we got to look forward to in the dub?
So the dub, what I loved so much about working on this is I was a huge fan of the show, and sometimes when we work on the English dub, the Japanese production team are very strict about the humor or the translation and what they want translating to a Western audience. And for this one, they said humor is first and foremost the most important thing of the show. We want it to be fun, we want it to be lively, and you're learning along the way, but it's kind of a surprise, so the knowledge sneaks right in. So this had a lot of jokes. This was one of the very few dubs that I've worked on that if there was an ad-lib that we did that fit the flaps, they would keep it, because usually they work so hard to make those translations and the script fit. So this is a little bit more free-form. We got to crack a few more jokes along the way, which was a blast. Obviously, if you've seen the Japanese, there's a lot of crazy screams that Red Blood Cell does, so there were we tried to figure out ways to make them different and wacky and also scary, but really funny, so that was a blast.
Yeah, we were talking about it in the office, and I'm like, this show looks so cute, and somebody said to me, have you seen how much blood is in this show?
So much blood.
I'm like, I guess that kind of makes sense.
So much blood, yeah. And you don't think about that, but then we got into a weird inception moment while we were recording. We were so inside every little red blood cell, are there miniature versions of all these other cells? And where does that start? And it became one of those weird mirror image chains of how tiny do the little cells get?
And across your journey, during Cells at Work, what fun facts did you learn about your own health? And
so many. I had no idea. And we were discussing. I'm like, man, I don't want to give anything away, but there's an episode where one of the human gets injured in some way, and there's a lot of blood leaving the body. And I was like, man, did they get seriously impaled? And it could be as small as a paper cut. And that's what's so traumatizing. Our poor little cells go through so much. But when I have a crazy day recording, there will be days where I don't drink enough water because I'm so busy working and having fun that I forget I haven't had any water. So the dehydration episode, I was like, is this what I'm doing to my body and my little cells?
That's right.
I need to be nicer to myself.
Absolutely.
Take care of my little red blood cell.
Making yourself work too hard.
I am. I gotta drink more water.
They look pretty, that particular episode, it looked pretty lovely though once the water starts.
Right? It looks so nice.
I feel like my body would appreciate it more if I dehydrated it first.
Right, so that it would be like a beautiful stream of water and an oasis.
I'll try that this time.
Yeah, perfect.
So, given you learned a few things during your time on Cells of Work, let's put you to the test, shall we?
No.
So, it's going to be multiple choice. You guys can feel free to
help me out, guys.
Okay, here we go. Question 1. And if there are any doctors in the audience, I think you guys are immediately disqualified.
We did have a Dr. Anaplex. I don't know who the doctor was, but Dr. Anaplex listened to all of our episodes and would give us translation help or make sure that everything was scientifically accurate.
On stuff.
So we've got the famous Dr. Anaplex.
Very good. And also there to treat you when you're dehydrated.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what is, question 1, what is the proper name, here we go, of the killer T cell? Now bear with me because it's multiple choice. I've got syllables written all over this page. Is it eosinophil T cell, cytotoxic T cell, or platelet T cell? Let's hear those answers, everybody.
Hey.
So the answer actually is D, Robbie Damon. Just kidding. I think it's B, cytotoxic T cell.
The correct answer, everybody, is B. Well done. Let's move on to question 2. Question 2. The mast cell is also known as the blank cell. That is A, the SAM cell, B, the platelet cell, or C, my personal favorite, the fat cell.
Which do you guys think? It is totally, it's totally
What do you guys think? Let's hear those answers.
C? If it's C, everybody cheer.
That's a reasonable cheer.
Yeah, that's a reasonable cheer. I trust you guys. I'm gonna go C.
The correct answer is C. Well done, everybody.
Good job, guys.
Okay, question 3.
If we took tests like this in school as a group, I think everybody would do so much better.
Exactly. Why we just help each other? That's what life's about.
It is what life's about.
Question 3. Yeah, here we go. This is one of my tough ones. Who is this deadly group? Is it A, Staphylococcus aureus, B, the platelets, or C, neutrophils?
So it's definitely not the platelets because I love those sweet little
Can't
babies.
forget those guys.
But when I was watching this show and I would talk to my mom about it afterwards, she actually told me that when I was 6 years old and I got put in the hospital with cellulitis, that A is actually what I had. So I had this horrible little creature living in my body for a brief time. So
lovely,
it's A.
lovely eyes though, and a beautiful smile.
Really, yeah. I mean, if you're gonna have a terrible, deadly cell living in your body, like why not this one?
Do you guys concur? I'm using my doctor talk now. Do you concur?
Yeah, is it A?
We concur.
Would anybody cosplay as this cell? Man, can you imagine a cosplay gathering of all of these crazy cells, like the diseased cells? That would be so cool.
I've seen lots of white blood cells and red blood
I
cells.
saw a platelet today, and I was like, hello, adorable platelet, and she ran so fast. Like, she was very scared.
Okay, the correct answer is A. Well done.
Yes. Okay, good.
Okay, last question. Question 4. The kick-ass macrophage is part of which group? A, the white blood cell, B, the T cells, or C, platelets?
What do you guys think?
What you got?
A? Wait, okay, everybody for A cheer? Everybody for B cheer?
Yeah.
Everybody for C cheer?
What do you want to trust these guys?
I was feeling really good about A, but now they're making me think maybe it's B.
Come on, lock it in.
A?
That person sounded very sure of themselves.
Yeah, I heard 3 A's, like, come on, Cherami, it's totally A. So I'm going to trust those very confident people and say A.
The correct answer is A. Well done, sir.
Yeah! These people would have totally aced biology.
It was a bit more like a science quiz than an anime quiz, really, wasn't
That's
it?
fine. I feel like we should just make sure that we watch Cells at Work and
Ruin your body with these.
I'm going to get so many of those mast cells in my body now. These Jim Jams.
Very good, very good. Well, enjoy that, and thank you everybody for participating.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
Now, what we're going to do right now is a little bit of Q&A for Cherami. So, if anybody's got a question, let's get their hand high up in the air. You can stay where you are, sir. We're going to bring the mic to you.
Oh,
We go. Right here, fellow in the front row, he helped us out.
Yes, it's Lockie.
It's all right. I made a note of you guys. Put your hands down. We're going to come to you in a minute.
Check 1, 2. How we doing this evening?
Doing well. How are you?
Pretty good.
Awesome, awesome.
I was wondering, so speaking of fairy tales, possibly that's hopefully not unfortunate end. Did you hear there's a PS4 game for it coming out soon?
I did hear a little bit about that.
Is that going to be dubbed? Because like I saw Todd Habercorn tweet the other day, I'm fired up now, and everyone was just spamming his comments.
Oh.
Wait, dub confirmed? Because like...
Wait, he may know something I don't. I'm
Funny.
usually the last to know. Todd asks a lot of questions. As far as I know, there is no plan to dub it. I don't know if we've ever done I know that they dubbed some of the DBZ games, so it's not out of the realm of possibility. But maybe. That'd be pretty great.
You heard before that she's terrible at keeping secrets too.
I'm terrible. They don't tell me anything. Usually the way I find out things is because you guys send me tweets. I don't know when I'm allowed to talk about shows that I'm in or games that I'm in until you guys say, hey, this is you, right? I'm like, yes, question mark? So yeah, that'd be awesome, but I don't know at this point.
Thank you,
Hopefully.
You're as good at keeping secrets as Bryce is giving you Tim Tams.
That's 1,000% correct.
I should know.
Bryce keeps them all to himself. That's
We'll
okay.
move to the
It's fine.
lady in the centre here, and then we'll go these two, and then the gentleman over there. The lady in the centre.
Sarah, how are you?
I'm tired.
I understand that.
You were Devilman Crybaby, one of the best shows that came out last year.
I'm glad you liked it.
What's it like playing a more serious role as opposed to like, you know, the fun, bubbly characters that you normally play?
Since I started out doing a lot of film and TV work before I knew that voiceover was like a thing, it's kind of nice for me to get to do some of the dark, dramatic roles. I don't know why, that's always what I've gravitated towards. I guess because usually one of the great things that I think about being an actor is being able to jump into someone else's life experience and get a broader perspective of human nature. And I've been very fortunate in that I have a great family and a really great childhood, and I've had really wonderful people and lovely friends around me. So I usually like to jump into those really dark characters because I'm like, oh, this is different and new. And I had my first audition when I was 13. Someone's like, you can't play a dark, brooding character. And I think it's human nature when everybody says you can't do this, everybody says watch me. So now anytime there's like a dark, brooding character, I'm like, I want to do this. And Devilman Crybaby was such like a really intense, unique show that oftentimes when we were working on it, we would say, what is this? What is happening? Is there, what? But it was so cool to get to work on.
Thank you. Gentleman here.
Something I was wondering about, obviously whenever you're working on a project, the people in charge of the project are going to want to keep things about the story and the features and everything on a need-to-know basis, just to
Sure.
keep it secret. And I was just wondering, I know that would generally be normal, but have you ever had any times where you had a job that you were voicing for and you were surprised, like even you were surprised by the lengths that this one went to hide
To keep things
story
secret?
plots, everything from the actors, just to keep everything on a need-to-know basis?
Yeah, I mean, there's, I understand for Sony top secret projects, usually when we work on, specifically for games, we never know the title of the game that we're working on. We usually get like 3 letters or we get a weird code name. And I worked on a game that was called Daisy, and I had no idea until it came out that it was like this really dark, intense game. They didn't tell me who was in the cast. They didn't tell me really as far. I only knew the scenes that I was in. So when I started playing the game, I was like, this is so intense, and my character is like a really upbeat character, so I didn't know how dark the game was. There's a couple projects that I'm working on now that people will come up to me and say like, hey, can you talk about this project? I'm like, I'm not allowed to know that I might know anything about anything. So usually my default response is the game looks really cool. I hope I get to be in it when all's said and done. Because that's the other nature of the beast in this industry is I've done episodes of television, I've done films, I've done games, I've worked on, I worked on Mist with Frank Darabont and filmed for 3 days, and then they did a clip of me in the trailer for the film, and then they cut out the 45 minutes of the movie that I was in, so I wasn't in the final cut of the movie, but I was in the trailer and like all these other things. And so you want to tell everybody, oh, I'm in this movie, or I'm in this TV show. I did an episode of New Girl for the Halloween episode. It was the first thing I did when I moved out to Los Angeles, and when the episode aired, all you could see is like my shoulder. And it was really heartbreaking. So usually when you work on a project, you don't know what you're allowed to talk about, and it would be devastating to say like, oh, I'm in this game, and then they do a redesign and they decide your voice doesn't really fit with the redesign, or they have a change and your character just gets cut. So a lot of it is, yes, protecting the intellectual property of the game or the film or the television show, but when push comes to shove, at any stage in production, things can change. And we may or may not be attached to it by the time it comes out. So when I worked on Call of Duty, and it's my face in the game and my likeness, I didn't know until the game came out and people were saying, hey, is this you as the quartermaster? I was like, yes, that is me, that's so cool. So it was a very stressful time until it comes out and I go, okay, that's my voice, that's me. I can actually talk about being in this. So it's usually the way that it goes to keep everything close to the chest until it's officially out and people are saying, this sounds like you and this looks like you, it must be you.
Young lady behind.
You told me yesterday that you've done up to 80 episodes of Boruto Naruto Next Generation.
Yeah.
How did you feel recording those episodes, and how do you feel about the future of doing it? And do you think Sarah has a dark side to her?
Ooh, I would love to see some of a darker, angsty side to Sarda. I was so excited when I got cast to work on the movie, and I love all of the actors that I get to work with. I'm friends with all of them. But I've worked with Robbie and Amanda multiple times on Sailor Moon, and when we got cast to work on Boruto as well, we all got to go to Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con together for the first time, and that was a really fun experience. And getting to promote the show and all of that stuff, and I love them, and I think they're incredible actors. So getting to have like these two people together were like the three musketeers for Boruto, and getting to be part of such a great legacy show that I have been sort of intimidated by, honestly, but the Naruto and Boruto fans have embraced us, which we were really nervous about. It's just been very surreal to get to be a part of that, and to get to be the offspring of two legendary characters in the Naruto universe, and getting to work with them and play in scenes opposite them, and they're such wonderful actors. I think it was the second volume of Boruto where you get kind of Sarah's backstory, and you kind of see a little bit of her insecurity with her family, and I love getting to see somebody that was so confident really express how vulnerable she was, and that was nice to see. I hope that we get to see her become Hokage later on. I hope that's part of her future. I know it's part of her future. She's not going to let anything get in her way, which is what I love. But I would love to see somewhere along the lines her show her dark side, because she's so passionate and loving and protecting something so fiercely. I think that would be pretty incredible. Yeah, there's got to be something there, right? That'd be amazing.
It's going to be like, it's some hard, like how Sasuke was in
We'll keep
I would love that.
something to look forward to.
That'd be awesome.
Now, so we'll have to keep moving. We got this gentleman right here. Yeah, that's you, sir.
Hello.
You sort of teased it in the question beforehand, but we've worked with projects like anime and like stuff like that, where you can sort of see what you're doing your voice work for. There's I normally see when voice actors, like anime voice actors, they sort of like have to link it with the footage.
Sure.
Then when you work on video games, you don't even know what the video game is and what your character is. How hard it is to sort of like create the character, or like voice of the character that you have no idea exactly what it is, compared to like doing anime and like what your sort of like personal experiences and like anime and video game.
It's a lot of trust involved for both, because in anime we have the existing animation and the picture that we can match flaps to, but we're trusting the director to know like what kind of performance we're going to get out of the other voice actors, because we record separately. So like when I work on Sword Art Online or for Fairy Tail, I trust the director implicitly to know what read they want from me or how they want the inflection to be to match with Todd or to match with Bryce or to match with Amanda and Robbie for Borjo. So there's a lot of trust for the director as far as that goes, but for a video game, I have to trust the production team when they're saying, this is kind of what the world looks like right now, that could change tomorrow, this is your relationship to this character, this could change next week, we're still working through it. So there's a lot of, with a game, especially if it's a really, really dense universe that they're creating, they might say like, this is the relationship for you and this character, and then that changes a week from now, and we have pickups, and we've got to change all of that. So we trust the direction, and we trust the production team, and the character design, and we kind of go through it. So it's like, you know, we're all creating this universe together and stumbling through that, which can be really fun, but it can also be a little daunting because everything changes on a moment-to-moment basis. And it's really rewarding when you work on such a massive project like that, and then you get to come to like a convention like this when we work so isolated in a booth, and you say, hey, this game really came out amazing, and we love the relationship with these characters, and we were kind of like stumbling through the dark, and when you guys love it and you enjoy it, that is the best payoff, because we're just working together as a team to deliver, hopefully, the best world for you guys.
Now, I've run over time, and so for all those people with your hands up, I'm going to have to apologise. We're going to have to move on.
Yeah, come see me at the table or the signings later, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you guys have there.
Now, I think most of the tokens for those sessions have been distributed,
okay.
so you'll have to stand on the sidelines and just yell your questions.
Yeah, well, I'll walk around. I'll usually walk around the floor because I have to find some fun things for my family.
There you go, be on the lookout.
Yeah.
Excellent. Just before we go, we're going to do a little prize draw.
Ooh.
I've got this copy of Orbital Scale on Blu-ray, and whoever wins it, I'm going to personalise it to you.
So what's that?
So we'll draw a number out of here,
Oh no. Okay.
and this should be your seat number, and people will either shuffle their bum sideways into the seat next to them, or we'll draw again.
H17.
H17.
017.
If you're in H16, you better move quick. we're going to win a step. We have a winner.
H17.
Madam, come on down.
Yay! I'm very so excited. The 17th of September is your birthday.
Cherami.
Because I thought I wouldn't win.
You did win.
Looking at me.
Today's your lucky day. Come on up. Come and whisper in Cherami's ear what your name is. She'll write you a heartfelt, warm message. Just 1 second, guys. So, next up we've got AGS, and over at the Uniqlo stage. Guys, are done? Oh, sorry. I'll stop at the time.
No, go to the Uniqlo stage.
Any final words for our audience today, Cherami? I think this is your last panel
It
today.
is my last panel. Thank you guys so much. I don't know when I will be back to Australia, but hopefully it's sooner rather than later. I'll work on my accent. Are there shows that I should watch?
Hey, Michigan! Demon Slayer!
Demon Slayer.
That's what we're looking for, an Australian accent.
Yeah, for an Australian accent.
Oh, never mind.
Hamish and Andy?
Like Priscilla. Okay.
Priscilla?
No, I just need to
Oh, yeah, sure, yeah.
I've been watching Wentworth.